Hello and welcome to Back to School Night. I know you guys have a few other videos to get to, so I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible and keep myself on track and not go on any weird tangents like I normally do. I have split this video into roughly 4 parts. So we've got some information about me, some info about our class, and then we have some frequently asked questions, and then we're going to talk about Schoology and daybooks because those are very important. We'll get to it in a minute. All right, so I don't know if I've even said this yet. My name is Tori Curtis. I'm originally from Kansas City, and I moved to Colorado when I was going into high school. I have 2 older brothers. They definitely tormented me when I was growing up, but I love them dearly. I have 2 dogs. I have Hank and Dottie, and I'm a big Kansas City Royals and Kansas City Chiefs fan. That has finally paid off after a lifetime. I also know a lot of weird facts about flamingos. Let me know. I can always tell you. Did you know they can drink boiling salt water? Because I did not know that until like a year ago. Anyways, let's talk about English 9 honors in general. And this is a very brief overview. I don't want to bombard you guys with a bunch of nitty gritty details, although I'm more than willing to talk to you about them if you are interested. So here is just kind of a general overview of our different units. This is for the whole school year, not just the first semester. So in the beginning of the school year, we've been focusing on the relationship between a reader and a writer in the text and how do those all intertwine and what is the importance of it. And we're actually moving into how does community impact perspectives and how does my perspective impact a community. And that kind of goes into the overarching theme of understanding others' perspectives and communities in general. So maybe you guys are like me, and when you hear the word community, it's just one of those buzzwords that don't really mean anything anymore, kind of like synergy, I don't know, or a think tank. It's kind of cheesy, but I do think it's important, especially for 9th graders. They're moving into a new school and they're kind of finding themselves and they're becoming tiny adults, which is kind of scary, but exciting. So here's a picture of a vacuum. Seems unrelated. I promise it's a little related. Anyways, my thought is that life is not meant to be experienced in a vacuum. We don't want to just live in the vacuum. We want to broaden our understanding of the world around us. And the best way to do that is through engaging with other people's experiences, whether that is through communicating with people around the world, or not that we're doing that in my class, but you have the opportunity to with your cell phone at any moment. And we're also going to be looking at understanding someone else's perspective through literature, through nonfiction texts. And that's also something we're going to spend a lot of time. Hopefully your students will join AP Seminar next year. I also teach that class. It's really fun. And we also get into different perspectives and understanding the world around us. So anyways, we're trying to escape the vacuum. We don't want to just live in the vacuum. Also, weird part of adulthood. Who knew that there was such a hierarchy of good and bad vacuums? Anyways, so rapid fire, frequently asked questions, course materials, everything is on Schoology. I tell students, just in general, like no face tattoos, no neck tattoos. But if I was going to get a face tattoo, I'd get it across my forehead. It's on Schoology because it's always on Schoology. Daybooks, I don't know why this transition, I can't get it to go away. But anyways, daybooks are something, they're a PDF that is downloaded to Schoology before every class, and then students download this to their iPads and they can interact with it through an app called Notability that's provided by the district. And as of September 21st, everything will be automatically synced to Google Drive, so they don't even have to submit it anymore. It shows up in their Google Drive folder, and I can see their work in real time. Right now, we are reading Of Mice and Men. Fantastic book, definitely devastating. Don't spoil it for them yet, although I did tell them that Lenny dies. Not how, just that he dies. Then we're going to be reading Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. I really wish that he had picked just a shorter title, make my life a little bit easier, but everyone is going to need a physical copy. If you guys are needing to borrow a copy for any reason, you don't have to explain it to me. Just say that you're interested in it, and I'll make sure that your student has one. Grades are always going to live on Infinite Campus. I'm not going to show you guys what an Infinite Campus looks like because on my end, it's totally different. There's also a lot of private information on there, so I'm not trying to get fired tonight. Best way to contact me is through email, curtis_tori@svvsd.org. We can always set up a time through Calendly to have a WebEx meeting. Always open to it. Fridays are great. Also, all of my availability with my different plan periods are on the Calendly link. Let's look at a Schoology page. So this is for an on-level course, but same thing across all my different classes. I have our folders broken down into weeks so that students don't have to jump between different folders. Anything they need for each week is going to be found in that folder. So that's where our daybooks are. That is where any sort of extra assigned reading is going to live. Then if you look over on the right, over here, we have upcoming assignments. So today is September 18th. Students need to be completing a Friday accountability quiz by 2 p.m. You don't need to look at those reminders. Those are for me and all the stuff that I need to grade. Then we have updates over here. Any sort of important information is going to be found in the updates area. Your students get an email every time that I post to that. So if they ever have questions, ask them, did you check Schoology? Ms. Curtis said Schoology. It's on Schoology. It's always on Schoology. This is a look at a daybook. Again, it's for an on-level class, but same basic structures. We have our focus for the day, our objectives, and then I like to include a why. So why are we doing this? Why do I think it's important for your students to know this? And we have the do not forget. That's just ongoing class messages. And I like to start all of my classes with some community building questions. Again, that buzzword, but it's just kind of a fun way to start the day and start our class. So in this instance, it was, would you rather be the best player on the worst team or the worst player on the best team? And I don't know, ask your students about it. It's surprising what they say. And then I asked them, imagine that we're getting a class pet tomorrow. It's a dog. I don't like cats. I'm really allergic to them. Sorry if you're offended by that. What should we name it? Some of them went with a very obvious choice of like dog, but then other people were like Penelope, Bartholomew. I don't know. It's just interesting. So for this example, on this day, we had some literary definitions that we were looking at as a class. We were going over some notes, so students had to write down some brief notes, and then we had a short story that we were reading, and they had to complete some work independently. And at the end of every daybook is some homework that they need to be working on. So for this example, it was they needed to make sure that they had an independent reading novel. That's not something you have to worry about. And then obtain a physical copy. They do need to worry about that. Of Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. All right. I don't know if your students have told you, but I do love trivia. So I'm going to force you to participate in some trivia, or I guess you could just exit out of this. But what four-letter word describes a long narrative poem about heroic deeds? What four-letter word describes a long narrative poem about heroic deeds? Sweet Jersey Shore reference. It's an epic. It's an epic poem. Think the Odyssey. It's another thing we're going to read in 9th grade. You don't have to worry about that until next semester, though. So if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can always email me at curtis_tori@svbsd.org. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. I will talk to you